That we're going to practice now is running microservice units. So here's the instruction over here, and on the right there is a event storming model. So when you look at the model, there is only one microservice which is named monolith, and there are two main databases which are made with aggregate named order and inventory. And the users are divided into customer and manager. They the customer orders some product and the manager adds the product into inventory. So this is a main service we are going to run, and when you click here at the code, you can see the code family that are already made by this model, and it has a basic theme to be a Spring application. So when you look at the pom.xml file, there are all these dependencies which are helping us to bring the libraries and connect to Spring, Kafka, and Cucumber to run the Spring service. As you can see, Cucumber test, Kafka streams, and these all dependencies are for running Spring Boot service. And when you go to the source and look at the domain folder, there are some repositories for these two aggregates, order and inventory. They are creating the microservice actively, and when you look at the infra folder, there are some controllers which has RESTful APIs related to this project. And on the abstract event, there are some codes to publish the events by Kafka. And you can take a look at the other codes if you want, like application YML. It has all the settings for this project to run the Spring service. It has the main port number and other informations. So I'll close this code preview, and when you place your cursor on this code button, it has a button named Project IDE. So I'll click this and connect to the Git pod. This Git pod IDE is an online service of VS Code, so you can change the code and run the service on this terminal. So when this Git pod is opened, I'll just ignore all these welcome pages, and you can ignore all these pop-ups, but not this one. We have to install this language support for Java because it helps us to use Java language more easier. So I'll click this button. So our Java language support is installed. And when you take a look at the monolith folder, there are all these codes we have saw from here at the code generation. As you can see over here, Java, domain, and there are all these codes we have seen. So these codes are already implemented, so we can just run this service and make some tests about it. So I'll just replace this one like here, so I can take a look at the instructions. So we have done this one, run IDE tool, to get into the Gitpod IDE. So our next step is to right click on the monolith folder and then click on open in integrated terminal. So I'll right click on this one and I'll click this to open a terminal. And then for every Maven based Spring Boot service, we can run it by putting in this command, Maven Spring Boot run. So it is compiling very fast, downloading all the dependencies and libraries, and the Spring server is coming up now. When it's done, the service is available on port number 8081. So I'll just open the browser, and as you can see, the Service is on 8081 server, and there are inventories, orders, and profile. There are three endpoints, and this browser is an API to get access to the endpoints. So as we have done, the microservice is a very light service that can compile and run very fast. So it is more easier to um, extend or maintain the service. Now our next step is to make a service test. So I'll just add another terminal and put in HTTP, and you can see it is not found because we have not installed the HTTP tool yet. So move on to the instruction and copy this one, pip install HTTP, and paste it here to install the tool. And as you can see, it is installed well, so I'll just clear this terminal and register a product to the inventories with the product ID number 1, and it has a 10 amount of stocks. So I'll just click this button to copy this command and paste it here. And then we can check that the stock has the amount of 10 for the product ID number 1. And our next step is to make an order for this product. So I'll copy this command and paste it here. This command means that we're going to order a product which is TV. It has the product ID number 1, and we will going to order 3 of them. So run this command, and as you can see, there is an order made with the quantity of 3, product ID number 1. For these two, we have not put in the information, so you can just ignore it. And this command over here, it is making the chunk of JSON to post it into the server. So we have made the order for this product, and let's check if the stock has decreased. We have ordered 3 of them, so we had 10 stock before, but we ordered 3, so we want it to have 7 of them left. I'll just copy this one again and paste it here. But as you can see, the stock has still the amount of 10, and it is wrong because we made the order for 3 stock discount, but it didn't. So our next step will be debugging on IDE to make this order successful, decrease the stock by the order we made. So before that, I'll just check another command to patch the informations about the ordered product. Copy this one and paste it here. It says patch and the quantity to 10. Our first order was quantity of 3, but if you put patch code here, then it changes the quantity into 10 as we put it in. So if you put it in the command, then our order quantity would be changed into 10. Now let's move on to debugging, and first we have to understand the codes over here. So the debugging is a necessary function to search the problem when we are implementing the service and understanding the code. So when you move on to source codes here and click monolith application, the Java file, there is an application context on line 17, so I'll mark a breakpoint like this. When you place your cursor on the left side of the number, line number, then the red circle comes out, and when you click on it, the breakpoint will be marked, and when you click it again, it will be disappeared. So I'll just mark one breakpoint here and click the debug. Then the debugging process is up, and as you can see, the orange label over here, and there are some variables, and call stack informations coming out on the left side. This is coming up when the debugging process is ready. And here you can see the controller. There are some buttons to continue the system and step over to the next one, step into the function and step out of the function, and restart the system or stop it. So I'll just click continue, and when you click on the continue, then the Spring server is coming up. So we can check that the Spring application.run, this code is running the Spring Boot service as we made it. But the result coming out says application failed to start because the port 8081 is already in use. It means that we have been running the Spring Boot service over here, so two services cannot be running on the one port number. So I'll just kill this terminal by deleting it, and I'll just delete all this one and leave only the main terminal and the debugging one. So let's run it again by debugging, and then I'll click on continue, and then the Spring server will come up as we saw before, and the port number 8081 is coming up. So we have checked the debugger, and this time I'll move on to order.java and place a breakpoint over here, and then I'll move on to the top and make an order as we did before. Move on to the main terminal and put in this command, and then the internal server error comes out because we killed the terminal for the monolith, so we must register inventory first before we make an order. So I'll just copy this command again to put in the inventory information for product ID number 1 and 10 amount of stocks. Put it in again, and then I'll just make an order. Then we can get the information of product ID by add to watch, and then the product ID number 1 is coming up here, and if you get the QTY, which is quantity, and add to watch again, it has brought the information 3 as we made the order. So I'll just continue it, and then our order is made. But if you check the inventory again by copying this command and putting in here, the stock is still 10. So I think there are some problems on transaction of this service because there are no errors of this logic, but it cannot bring the information of order. So in this lab, we have learned to debug the system and make some order from the inventories we have registered, and in next time we will make this monolith service, which is this only one microservice, and we will divide it into two of them by order and inventory. So this monolith service will be the microservice next time, and we will check it next time.